Crossbows. You may have seen them, maybe even shot one once or twice. But if it's been more than a couple years, you might want to give them another look. You see, crossbow technology has come a long way. Today's models are lighter, faster, easier to handle, and when topped with the right sight, they're deadly accurate. This week, on the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries, we've got 10 Point Crossbows' Brian Flaherty in camp. Brian and his crew have brought several of the all-new models for 2025, and we'll be putting them to the test. So, without further ado, let's get out in the field with Brian and the all-new, redesigned for 2025 10 Point Turbo X.
All right, so we're down in South Texas, hunting whitetails, and it is a scorcher. It's 85 degrees when we pulled in this afternoon to get ready for camp, got the bows sighted in. We're out here in a nice elevated blind, so we're not seeing much activity until about the last 30 minutes of daylight, so we're going to sit this one here. We've been seeing a nice 10 point come in to this spot quite a few days out of the week, so we're hoping to catch them here, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so we are down here in early November, and this is a week that 10 Point always looks forward to get out here with you guys and Wade and the crew, and the opportunity to test out our new product for 2025. So I've been coming down here about 5 years. I think it's been 5 years since we've done this week, and it's been great. Typically, you guys are one of our best partners, and typically before that it's been, hey, here's all the bows, you guys go out and do it, and eventually got to the point where we said, hey, let's just make it a 10 point week. And let's just come down here, test out the new bows, create a lot of content, put some meat in the freezer. And so over the past 5 years, I've shot a number of doe, 3 or 4 mature bucks, a number of pigs. And it's just been it's a great week of not only putting the bows to the test, but just building relationships, catching up with old friends. And it's become a really, really special week for 10 Point.
Now, if you've caught our last few shows, you know that we're all in on crossbow hunting. We've had several successful hunts using a variety of 10 Point models, along with their arrows, lighted nocks, and other accessories. If you missed those hunts, you can always catch them on the Outdoor Action app. It streams 24/7 on your favorite device. Getting back to the hunt, we'll rejoin Brian in the field on his first sit of the season.
Yeah, so it was our first sit of the hunt. We got in probably about 3 or 4 hours ago. Got time to sight the bows in, get comfortable. Then had a decent little sit this afternoon. Had about 3 or 4 doe come through. And actually the shooter buck that we were after, we did see him, so we got eyes on him. He came in really over our left shoulder and never gave us any opportunity to really pass through in a matter of minutes. Wasn't interested in stopping by at some corn that we had put down. So he kept on moving through. There's a couple smaller bucks behind him, but really nothing, nothing came to fruition. But it was a good sit, good time getting into camp, and we'll look forward to a game plan for tomorrow morning.
Back at camp, Middleton has steaks on the grill, and the crew settles in. After dinner, they go over the week's agenda and make plans for tomorrow's hunt. Early the next morning, Brian's back in the blind, hoping to get a better look at one of the shooter bucks that Wade has seen on his Stealth Cam trail camera. The forecast calls for milder temps today, which in South Texas really means just not as hot, with maybe a little less wind.
So the following morning, we were in an elevated pop-up, and we saw 2 bucks came over our right shoulder, coming down the trail, and stopped immediately when they got to us. So I don't know if they smelled us or we spooked them or whatever. They didn't run off. They just kind of made their way around. About 20 minutes later, they show back up, kind of coming right at us.
The 2 are less than 40 yards and approaching. Maybe it's the lack of wind, but they're wary.
They saw something, heard something, or smelled something, because they took off, and really that was the only action that we saw. That was about 7:30 or so, I think. And since then, there's no wind. It's super calm this morning, and we haven't seen any action or any movement since then. So we're going to head back to camp, have a good breakfast, and try to map out the game plan for this afternoon. But we're close. So Last night and this morning we've seen the shooter bucks that we're after, and it just hasn't happened yet, but that's how it goes, and we'll regroup and get a good plan together.
It's late afternoon, and those milder temps never materialized. It's hot, and there's not much moving.
Still 85 degrees out right now. There's about 0 wind, so we're going to see how this afternoon goes, but we're just in a couple tripods trying to get up. There is some shade there, so maybe we'll cool off a little bit, but it's too hot to be in the pop-ups this afternoon, so we're going to take a chance, see what happens. Not sure what's going to come in here. It's been a little bit hit or miss, but we'll see what happens, and we're going to try to stay cool.
Brian talked it over with Wade and headed out for a management hunt. To keep the herd healthy, Wade likes to take a couple does for every buck harvested, and Brian is looking to fill the freezer.
And we decided that if a doe came out, if there was a mature doe there, to be able to take a shot, that we were going to take a shot. We just didn't know how much the bucks were going to move that afternoon. It was very hot, little wind.
While we wait, here's a look at this week's gear guide. Brian is shooting the 10 Point Turbo X with 10 Point Alpha Pro arrows tipped with Nemesis broadheads. And in his pocket, to determine distance, he's got the 10 Point Align 800 rangefinder. Sitting high up on a tripod with his cameraman right behind him, it wasn't long at all before the first doe came in. Completely unaware, the doe hopped in and out of the feeding pen for several minutes. Though well within range, she never gave Brian a clean shooting opportunity.
She was in there for a while, couldn't get a good angle on her, couldn't get a good shot on her. A second doe came from the left and kind of spooked the doe out of there. It moved 35 or 40 yards away. We thought she was taking off. She stopped for a minute, turned back around broadside.
I got her.
And the doe on the left then blew a little bit, and we took that shot right on that doe over here at about 40 yards.
What do you think? Looks good to me.
Did you see it?
Huh?
Did you see it?
It looked good to me. I haven't played it back.
You think I can see blood? Just blood. Immediately everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So I thought it was a little bit low. I don't know.
Well, low actually is good. Was it right at the shoulder? He said it looked like it hit the shoulder. That's lungs and heart.
Looking back at the 10-point replay, in super slow motion, you can see the arrow blast through the shoulder and exit the other side. That doe is the first deer down with the all-new Turbo X. Redesigned for 2025, the Turbo X is really a tried-and-true staple in the 10-point arsenal, though upgraded with several new features.
So our turbo crossbow has been in the lineup at 10 Point for many years. And this is our lightest, fastest, and most accurate turbo that we've had. One of our time-tested models. Just really, really looking forward to dealer and consumer feedback on that, because it's really hitting that sweet spot in price and performance.
Giving it time, Brian sent a text that a deer was down. Wade pulled on his boots and came out to help track.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of blood there.
Let's say that Nemesis did the job.
Here's lung right here. You're not going very far without that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's a lung. That's pieces of the lung right there. So you blew, I mean, that's gonna have come out the exit hole where that Nemesis basically opened up. I mean, so yeah, she's not going very far.
Oh, perfect.
Without that.
Here we go.
Here,
Yep.
here. She right there.
Oh, that's,
I kind of figured when Kevin walked up there,
Yeah.
I said, he's sneaking
Kevin's-
around. Look
Kevin's
at
always
this right here, how much she was
Holy
just,
cow.
look at that. Big old healthy doe, buddy. Perfect shot. I mean, look at that. Look at that, you can tell the Nemesis. That's perfect.
A 40-yard shot, and the doe was down within 50. Coming up, we'll take a detailed look at the 10-point Turbo X. But first, we're back in the field with Brian as he continues his quest for a big Texas buck. It's day 3 of our hunt, After harvesting a doe yesterday, we're back in the field with Brian. He's got one more day before heading home, and he's hoping to take his first buck of the season.
So we are headed out to a spot called the Honey Hole. It's really calm right now, but the wind is supposed to change here in the next hour and a half. So talked to Wade, and he's got a pretty good idea of the best spots when the wind is changing like this in the morning. So we'll be in another elevated blind this morning. He's seen about 2 or 3 really good bucks coming through there. He's seen a really mature axis buck coming through there. So hoping to get situated. We're getting out a little bit early than usual. So hopefully we get settled in and we see how this plays out this morning.
After getting busted by the 2 bucks on his first sit, Brian made sure to bring his Atchco Pro Pump Kit and no odor oxidizer. This stuff destroys all traces of human scent. In the blind, well before sunrise, things got going quickly.
It was right after daylight, so about 7 o'clock. We weren't after an axis. We see a huge axis coming from about 100 yards away. While at the same time we have 3 doe kind of filtering on our left, and my heart was pounding. Again, we weren't looking for an axis, but that started coming, and I was all jacked up to maybe have a shot on it. The axis then exits, and I'm a little bummed out because once you see him and once you see the size of those things, it would have been pretty spectacular to have him come in. But he leaves, and I figured I'd just take one last look just to make sure he completely exited, that he wasn't turning around and come back to us. And so I looked to my left just to make sure, and lo and behold, there's a buck standing there, and it's one of the 2 bucks that Wade had seen at that spot. So I turn, I'm like, holy cow, there's a buck over here now. So I give him, 30 seconds. I'm gonna let him walk in and kind of settle in. So again, I turn and peek, and now there's 2 bucks. There's 2 bucks coming in, which was the second one that Wade had seen on camera there. So they come in and they're kind of traveling together, and they settle down and start settling in about 25 yards away, but they're right behind, one's right next to each other. So I didn't want to take a shot. The one in the back turned left real quick, and the one in the front, which is a beautiful 9-point, he turns and gives me a hard quartering away shot about 25 yards. Took the shot, and man, the rest is history.
That happened fast.
And the shot I thought was a little bit low. Camera showed that it was a little bit low, and so we gave it some time. We gave it a good hour and a half.
Cool.
The arrow is still in it though.
Yeah. Nice.
Joined once again by Wade, it wasn't hard to follow the trail.
So yeah, he was about right here.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Y'all didn't hear a crash or anything?
I did not hear a crash, no.
So the only thing I'm worried about was the severe angle. So we're gonna be as quiet as we can.
Okay.
I mean, the arrow, it went all the way to Fletching, didn't it? Looking at the video, so then it went up and moved around. Sometimes when they're at that severe of an angle, it can go all the way through and out the chest and not hit anything. So what I want to really see is just absolute blood everywhere. That deer's going to die. We're going to find him even if we have to call a dog. But what you really want to see is like what we saw in the other one where it was all blew up. So we're going to go about 100 yards really, really quiet. But I mean, I see, there's blood all through there. That's what we want to see.
Coming up, there's no doubt that this buck is down. We'll find it. And then we'll have Brian walk you through the all-new 10-Point Turbo X. We're at the ranch in South Texas, somewhere west of San Antonio. We spent the last few days hunting with 10-Point Crossbows' Brian Flaherty, and just before the break, he made a great shot on a nice Texas buck.
Oh man, I think it was good. It was a pretty hard quarter, but I don't know, man.
Sometimes when they're at that severe of an angle, it can go all the way through and out the chest and not hit anything. So what I want to really see is just absolute blood everywhere. That deer's going to die. We're going to find him even if we have to call a dog. But what you really want to see is like what we saw in the other one where it was all blew up. So we're going to go about 100 yards really, really quiet. But I mean, I see, you know, there's blood all through there. That's what we want to see.
Wade came in, and after about 20 yards, we thought, hey, this is good blood. You know, we're on a good track here, and we tracked it about 70 yards, and there he was. Yes. Yes.
I was like, man, he's got to be right here. He like crashed through that whole tree.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yes,
Congratulations,
man. Oh,
dude, look at
shoot.
those chocolate antlers on this guy.
Oh, man.
Go from no deer yesterday to deer today. Oh, that's that deer I was telling you about with the Palmation on his left main beam. He's so cool. So cool. So cool. That's a good one. Look at the hole.
So, man, so we had about a 25-yard shot, really hard quartering away, but everything happened so fast this morning. We had that axis come in. We had this buck come in with a second buck right at the same time. We had 3 or 4 doe in there this morning. Man, put that Nemesis broadhead right through it, and gosh, tracked it a little bit here, but oh, what a great hunt this morning. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a deer we had seen on the camera for a few times, and just very, very thankful for the opportunity.
Dude, that's a stud. That's such a cool deer. Big old brow tines.
Look at his body.
Yeah, that's a good one.
With a good buck down, we'll get that one back to camp for cleanup and then off to the processor. In the meantime, we'll turn it over to Brian and the redesigned 2025 10-Point Turbo X.
We're taking a look at the new for 2025 10-Point Turbo X crossbow. If you're familiar with the 10-Point lineup, the Turbo model has been a staple in it for many, many years. And this is our lightest, fastest, and most accurate turbo crossbow that we've ever had. It shoots 415 feet per second. It's measuring a very narrow 9.5 inches axle-axle when cocked. Now this crossbow is in direct response to consumer feedback, looking for a fast, safe, light, simple, durable, and easy crossbow to handle at the price point of right around $12.99. The Turbo X features our traditional time-tested 2-cable bow assembly, and this is really a key factor in the durability, simplicity, and low maintenance of the crossbow. It also features our MDX cam system, which elongates the power stroke, and that does 2 things really. One, it allows us to get more speed at the 415 feet per second, but this also allows us to utilize a lighter draw weight. So this is going to reduce noise, vibration, limb stress, all important factors in making the Turbo X the lowest maintenance, affordable, high-performance crossbow on the market today. Moving on, the Turbo X also features our Rangemaster 100 scope, which is a 2 to 7 power variable speed scope, aim points out to 100 yards, and then also our scope struts are new on the Turbo X for this year, and this really increases strength to create a good foundation for that scope, help you deliver long-range accuracy, and really bulletproof in the field durability. Also on our new Turbo X is the AccuSlide cocking and decocking system. This is the safest and easiest decocking system on the market to operate. Dealers recommend it the most, and while you're cocking and decocking the crossbow, you can remove your hand at any point and the handle will stop in its place. Starting at $12.99, this is going to be a very hot selling crossbow in 2025. It's fast, it's light, it's accurate, very low maintenance, very durable. So if you want to learn more, check out your local dealer or head to TenPointCrossbows.com.
Bullseye.
If you've got any questions about this hunt or the gear used, reach out to us at whitetail@carecotv.com. Keep up with the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries on social media. We're pretty easy to find. And for the very best in crossbow technology, visit TenPointCrossbows.com.